अच्छे से होंगे and you must be taking good care of your near and dear ones too. Now again, in addition to that, I'm sure आपकी दिवाली भी अच्छी हुई होगी. Again, we sincerely expect that आप लोगों को वीडियोस अच्छे लग रहे होंगे, और अगर लग रहे हैं तो प्लीज़ डू लाइक, सब्सक्राइब, कमेंट and do share our videos. And in case if you have any inputs and suggestions, please ensure कि आप वो share करें हमसे, because that is definitely going to help us to further improve and improvise on our videos. Now, today we are going to discuss about one of the key skills, and that is called communication skills. And so we are taking up a very important and a popular principle, which is called the 7 C's of communication. So which is like, if at all I quickly list down these 7 C's, it is clarity, completeness, correctness, conciseness, courtesy, completeness, and considerations. So I may have missed one or two, but again we are going to cover up quickly the 7 C's and what role they play in terms of ensuring that the communication is kind of very, very effective and impactful. So majorly, if you look at the sales and marketing professionals, they have a very, very important role to play, and this skill is the most important skills as far as this section of the job role is concerned, and that is sales and marketing. And most of the corporate, the engine of kind of generating sales, I think a lot of employment which revolves around this section of the portfolio, which is sales and marketing, and a lot of people are employed under this section. So I decided to take this up, kind of just to see what and how we can have more impactful communications. So let us pick up the one and start with the 7, quickly covering the 7. Clarity. So clarity is important because it is very, very crucial that every communicator must know what he has to convey, how he has to convey, and what is the degree of content which he has to convey. So the sender and the receiver, it has to be very, very clear in terms of what is the degree of messaging which has to happen from the sender side to the receiver side, and how clear is that message. So kind of few things which the sender needs to be taken care of is one, a very simple and common language can be used and employed because that will 100% enhance kind of the delivery, and even the receiver can comprehend the message very easily. Even the sentence making, the sentence formation need to be very, very simple, and with simple and day-to-day words which can be employed. Probably even the abstract word needs to be avoided, and concrete words which are kind of used in day-to-day routine discussions, that can be employed, and unnecessary loading of informations, right? Loading of kind of multiple information needs to be avoided, and this will for sure kind of enhance the degree of clarity with which the sender is passing the communications, the things to the receiver. Then comes the correctness. So correctness again, how accurate is it? The kind of message which is being passed on. Here again, it is very important that there are few things where the sender has to be very about a little more careful. If at all the sender is using some facts or figures, he or she needs to be very careful about how authentic is that data, and what's the source of that data. Even grammatical mistakes, errors, punctuations, capitalizations, words which are used. It has to be again rechecked that there are no misspellings and stuff like that. So this ensures that the message in its complete form is going as corrected and as accurate as possible. Then comes the conciseness. Now, conciseness again is important because the most impactful form of communication is it is in the form as concise as possible. So when we say concise, concise means what kind of words which are used, of course, and it has to be packed with very relevant material, relevant information needs to be there, so that the conciseness of the overall material has to be ensured, so that the final message which gets delivered to the receiver is in a very crisp, concise and simple form of messaging, so that it actually forms and meets the objective which is actually needed in such kind of communications. Courtesy again is very important because the sender has to be courteous in terms of being very sensible, sincere, and of course be respectful to the people to whom this message is going. Any kind of discriminatory gesture or language, whether it is caste, creed, race, color, gender, has to be avoided. And even to an extent, any kind of humor, right? If at all it is just making things a little lighter, it's okay, but it has to be controlled and measured. So in all of its form, courtesy has to be its own rules, defined boundaries, and within that, the sender has to ensure that the communication is flowing through. Then comes the concreteness. Now, concreteness is in terms of what is the kind of facts and figures which are used. So the data which is being presented, if at all, it is something which is statistical data. Now it has to be very clearly mentioned in terms of the source of the data, from where it has been collated, and of course the authenticity of data must be very honestly shared with the receiver. Active voice would be more preferred over passive voice, because when it comes to concreteness, it is any image building words or flowery words can be avoided, rather than a very clear and simple meaning words are more impactful, to make it an effective form of communication. Consideration again is important, because once you are conveying certain message to the receiver, you need to be equally pertinent, attentive in terms of any questions, queries, or anything which the receiver would like to know, related to data, related to points, statements, or facts or figures which you are presenting. So you need to be considerate as far as these things are concerned, and because and if at all it's a large audience, the receivers are many, so you need to again be very pertinent in terms of is every person who is being the receiver is being attended as far as the questions or the queries or any other curiosity is concerned. And then last but not the least is the completeness of your communication. Now here, I think the 5 W's, as popularly known as the what, when, where, why, and who and how. I think these things needs to be addressed in a complete manner, and this inform it provides all the necessary information, and it closes the loop of the 7 C's of communication. So it can be said that these C's, if at all met and dealt efficiently, they actually deliver a very impactful communication from the sender to the receiver. So with that, I'm sure if at all anyone who is going to take care of these 7 C's, they will yield a very efficient and an impactful communication. Thank you so much for listening. And again, I would insist to please do share, like, subscribe, and comment in case if you have any inputs or suggestions. Look forward to have many more such interactions in days and times to come. Thank you so much.